Hello Cricuters, and welcome to Cricketing with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I am doing what I said I would do. I am keeping my promise and making a cutie banner. Now, I used the glitter cardstock that came in the bright mystery box that I just revealed the other day. If you didn't get a chance to look at that video, I'll make sure that it's linked down below. As a matter of fact, everything you need to know in terms of materials is linked down below, including the font, including the glitter cardstock, and all of the materials that I'll use in this project. Every time, they're always linked down below. This is what the finished product looks like. And what am I going to say? I love it. I love it. And so without further ado, let me show you all of the materials you'll need in order to create a cutie banner just like this. The materials that I use for this project include, I use one sheet of each color of the glitter cardstock that came in the Cricut Brights mystery box. I used the sheet of blue. I used the, I guess it's called mint. I used the yellow. I used pink, and I used the purple. I also used a sheet of white glitter cardstock that came in, I think it was 2 mystery boxes ago. I used my hot glue gun in order to glue the layers together. I used a roll of twine in order to hang the cuties on. I used a sheet of parchment paper so that when I was gluing and trying to put the adhesive together, I didn't mess up my craft table. I used multiple green standard grip mats. Now, remember, I've said this before, you can never, ever have enough mats. I used, I think, 4 mats because every time one of them finished cutting, I already had the next mat ready and loaded with my glitter cardstock. I used my Cricut ruler. This ruler is 18 inches long. I love this ruler because I use it pretty much in every single project, and it, you know, it's see-through, and I know it's 18 inches. It's perfect for me. I thought that I would be able to use the E6000 to spray the cardstock layers together, but it did not stick. So I ended up having to use tacky glue, and I used a paintbrush to put the layers together. So tacky glue and a paintbrush. I used a Sharpie to mark on the twine so I know where to glue because I wanted to measure it out perfectly. I used my Cricut scissors to clean up the glitter cardstock, the pieces after they were cut, and I used my spatula to remove pieces of the cardstock that were stuck to the standard grip mat. One other thing to note, I did use my Cricut Maker for this project. However, you could also use a Cricut Explore Air 2 or a Cricut Explore Air 3. I am not sure if you can do this project with a Cricut Joy because I personally do not own a Cricut Joy, not yet at least. All right, one other thing I wanted to mention, before you get started on doing this, decide on the word that you're going to use. So on my banner, the word that I decided I would use is the word crafty, okay? And crafty has what, 6 letters. So decide on, you know, what words you're going to use because that will let you know how many cuties you'll need to cut out. This is actually 3 layers because there are 2 layers. There's a front and back, and then there's a sheet of white. Oh, I didn't show that. There's a sheet of white craft board on the back. So that's what's the back layer. I thought I would use the white glitter cardstock, but I felt like that would be wasteful. So this also came in the last mystery box, the one that had the red cutie. This white craft board is the back layer of my banner. Okay, I think that is about it. And so without further ado, let me tell you what we're going to do. When I finish this part right here, we will move over to Cricut Design Space. After that, I will show you very quickly how I got all of my cuties cut out. When I finish that, I'll show you how I measured on the twine and how I marked the twine so I know where to glue. After that, I started putting my layers together. Now, this was a labor of love because I actually do not like using cardstock very much. However, I do enjoy the Cricut brand of glitter cardstock. Okay, so without further ado, let's head on over to Cricut Design Space. I am in Cricut Design Space and I'm connected to my Cricut Maker. I know that you could also do this exact same project with a Cricut Maker 3, a Cricut Explorer 3, or a Cricut Explorer Air 2. I am not sure if this project can be achieved from a Cricut Joy. I currently do not have a Cricut Joy. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Images, and I am going to do a search for the image sets for M8558287. Hit enter, and it is this Cricut Cutie right here. It's actually referred to as a Cricut Buddy, so that's another way to search. All right, so now I have him selected. The reason why I chose this one is because it is a layered file, and it's not just a standard Cricut Cutie. Let me show you what I mean, or let me show you the difference. Okay, so if I just go here and I type in Cutie, and I'll get, multiple options for Cricut Cuties. Let's say I wanted to use this one, for example, and I click add to canvas. If I add this one to my canvas, this one is not a layered file. This one is just a regular basic cut. And if I wanted to change the color of any part of this, I would have to contour it and move it around, and I don't want to have to do that one. This one is already layered, so if I wanted to change the color of the arms, I could change them to red if I wanted to. Okay, so that's why I've decided to use this one. I'm going to undo that. All right, so now that I have the file that I want, the next thing I'm going to do is resize it. Okay, I'm going to resize this to 4. I'm going to unlock it up here. I'm going to resize the width to 4.102, and the height will be 5.87. Okay, that's the size that I want. The next thing I'm going to do is duplicate this 2 times. I'm going to click duplicate, duplicate. Okay, all right. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to take this one, and I'm going to turn off the eyes and the face, and I want to turn off all of these pieces because I just want that bottom layer, and I want this bottom layer to actually be, I think I'm going to just keep it as white. Okay. I'll keep it as gray for now, because if I change it to white, you won't be able to see it on my canvas. All right, so now I'm going to start to manipulate these pieces because I want to change the colors. So one of these cuties will represent the front layer, and then the other one will represent what I consider as the back layer. Okay, so the front of this one, I wanted to, let me just hide this for 1 second. I am going to hide this whole thing, and I'll just start to work with this one. Let me ungroup it. Okay, and I'm just going to move these pieces out for now. Okay, I want his arms, move his eyes, and move his little face. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is I want to change the front of this to purple. Okay, and I want the back of it, or this layer right here, to be blue. Okay, so when I put it together, it's going to look like this. All right, and then I'm going to put his arms. His arms are actually going to be purple to match the rest of his body. Okay, and I want it to look just like that. And I'm going to keep the arms selected. Let me click on the arms, and I'm going to hold my shift key and click on his body, and I'm going to attach it so that this all will cut together. All right, and then for the eyes, let me look at his eyes again. Okay, all right, his eyes will be just like that. And because I'm using a layered file, I can change his eyes to look however I want them to look. So if I really wanted his eyes to be, I don't know, purple or blue, or yellow, or whatever. I could change them up to whatever I wanted them to be. Now that looks, you know, a little weird to me. So I think I'm just going to keep his eyes white. Okay. And I can change, you know, the color of his pupils. I can change the color of his, you know, his little mouth if I wanted to. Let's see. If I change that, what would I change it to? Let's see. So let's say if I wanted it to be purple, I think I do want it to be purple. I think that's actually quite cute. Let me go back to his eyes. Okay, let me scroll over here. Okay, let me go back and send that to the front. Okay, I like that. I think that's so cute. And put these eyes back on top so that he looks like that. All right, so now I have one cutie already done. This, I'm just going to put it over here to the side for now. All right. Okay. So now I have one that's already done exactly how I want it. The next thing that I'll do is, let me select this. Let me make sure that I have this grouped. Now I'll duplicate it so that when I duplicate, they are already grouped. Let me duplicate it again and again and again. Let me bring the view down because I'm going to have 6 cuties that I'm working with, and one more time. Okay, so let me still move him over to the side. I don't need that one just yet. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start to manipulate the others. Now this one is already done because it is already the colors that I want it to be. So now with this one, I will ungroup it and I'll start to manipulate it the same way that I did with the other one. Okay, so I'm going to move these eyes over, and for this one, I want the back to be purple. Okay, and I want the top to be green. So I'm going to change it to, I think it's this green right here. And then I am going to change his eyes to green using that same green. Okay, look at how cute that is. And then I'm going to put his eyes back over here. And it doesn't matter if they're not, you know, perfectly positioned right here, because what will matter is what it looks like when I start to glue it all down. All right, and then let me go ahead and group this so it stays together. So I have 2 that are done. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ungroup it and just start to play with the colors. All right, so I want the back layer of this one to be yellow. All right, and I want the top of it to be green. Okay, and the beauty of this, you know, doing a project like this is that you can make your colors however you want to make them. If you want your back layer to be, you know, to stand out a little more, to be a little bit bigger, maybe you could do that. Yours doesn't have to be exactly the same size as mine. I just wanted it to be a little bit, you know, just have a little tiny offset. And that's how I'm doing mine. Okay, I'm going to change this to green, move it over, and then put his eyes back on there. I think that is just the cutest. Okay, and I have it where I want it, and I'm going to group it, and I'm not attaching it because if I attach it, remember, all of my colors will turn and be the same, and I don't want that. Okay, so I have it now the way I want it. Now I am going to give this a name. I'm going to name my banner. When I did the banner in the fall, I just put the word Houston on it because my cutie banner represented my Houston Rockets. This time, this banner is just going to be, I think I want to name this one Crafty. So what I'm going to do is go to my text box and I'm going to turn on my caps lock. And I'm going to type the word crafty and I'm just leave some space. Okay. All right, and the font that I'm going to use is the one that is called Honey and Raspberries. You just type in honey. I downloaded this font from thefont.com and I think it's just the perfect little font for a project like this. Okay, I'm gonna bring it down. All right, and I am also going to, I think I'm going to ungroup this so that I can, select the individual letters and get them placed where I want them to be. I think that's a little bit too big. Okay, that is so cute. And the letters will actually match the background color of each cutie. So the background color of this cutie is purple. So that letter will also be purple. All right, so this one will be, and what is the height of this? Is what is the height? 1.183. So the cutie banner will look like, and I've named my banner Crafty. You can name your banner whatever you want to name it. You can call it Cutie, you can call it Buddy. If you're making one in honor of Melody Lane, you can call it Melody. There are cuties in here in Cricut Design Space that are dedicated to Melody Lane. So here's one right here. Look at how cute that one is. There's one right there. And I think there was one other that I saw earlier. There may have been one other that I saw that is dedicated to her memory. Okay, oh, there are 3 right here in a row. And there's actually one up here too. Okay, so there are 4 for you to choose from. All right, if that's what you choose to do. All right, so now I have these and they are exactly, the way that they will look when I get them hung up on my wall. This will be the background layer that is behind these 2 layers. So I have 2 layers and then there'll be one that will go behind this. And the size of this one is going to be 4. Let me look at it again. Let me see. Okay, the size of this background layer, I'm going to click unlock, and the size of this is 4.243, and the height of it will be 6. Okay, I like that. All right, so it'll just fit behind there just like that. Okay, and that is the perfect little size. So since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuties, I'm also going to have 6 of these background layers. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1 for each of my cuties. Okay, so these 2 layers will be glued together and then the twine will go in between and then this will go behind it. All right, so now that I have everything all exactly how I want it, I will go ahead and click make it. And it's going to sort all of my pieces by color. Okay, so I have, 6 cuties that look like that are my background layer. I have all of the eyes right here. I have 2 pieces that are pink. I have 3 that are yellow. I have 3 that are green, including the letters. And then I have 1 that is blue. And I have 3 that are purple. And what I'll do now is click continue. Okay. For these pieces on mats 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I'm using glitter cardstock. I'm using the Cricut brand of glitter cardstock. What I did not see, let me go back. What I did not see, oh, okay. I was thinking about I found it. Okay. I'm actually going to use glitter cardstock for all of it. So I was thinking of using craft board for this, but I think I'm just going to use the white. I'll decide that when it's time to cut. I'll start with my cutting on my purple mat. Okay, so I'm going to go to browse all materials, and I'm going to do a search for glitter cardstock. Okay, and I will click done, and I will get my mats loaded. Everything that I'll do from here will be back on the camera. Okay, I have my purple glitter vinyl loaded onto the mat face up, and I am going to go ahead and get it loaded, making sure that the mat is under both of these I guess alignment tools on the side. I'm using my regular fine point blade. There are 10 inches behind the Cricut Maker. I'll speed this part. I'm going to unload my mat. I know that it is cut all the way through. Let me show you what that looks like. Excuse me. Okay, look at how cute that is. So I'm going to kind of just pull that off to make sure there are no extra pieces, but that is my first cut. I will get the rest of this cut out, and I'm gonna also make sure I clean up these edges. I don't want any of these pieces on the edges. I want to have clean edges, but I think that looks really, really cute. Okay, I'll get the rest of this cut out. I will speed this part up. One of the things that I did right here is that I actually planned out the way that I wanted to put them together. I actually wrote it down. I just used the back of a calibration sheet and then I just wrote it out. So I wrote out like which color was going to go on the front and which color would be on the back and what color my letters were. And I made sure that I had the front piece, the back piece, the letter, the eyes, the arms, the mouth, and the eyes. The pupils, and then the eyes. And then I did it for each piece. So I had, six cuties all together. So once it was all done, and then I have all of the pieces that will be on the back. After I got all of my pieces, I made sure that I had, you know, a set of eyes, a set of arms, one mouth. I had every single thing I needed to put them together. The next thing I did was I measured the twine. In my opinion, in order to get the sizing of the twine just right, it's best to use these bigger pieces or these bigger cuties, because these are bigger than the other ones and these will take up more space on the twine. So what I've decided to do is start at the 3-inch mark on my ruler. Let me move these out so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I start at the 3 inches probably isn't enough. Maybe I'll start at the 8-inch mark, and that will be the end of my twine. I'll let that be the end, okay? And then I will go in by 2 inches, and I'll start there to get my first cutie measured. So if I decide to put one there, like right on this 10-inch mark, and then what I'm going to do is use a Sharpie to kind of mark the twine. That's where I'll know to put the glue, because I'm going to glue the twine to the cutie. And then for once I get it glued down, I will leave 2 inches in between each one, and then I'll glue the next one. I think 2 inches is sufficient. Maybe 3 inches in between each one will be sufficient. So I'll add my mark, I'll measure 3 inches, I'll add another mark, I'll add 3 inches, and I'll do it all the way down until I have my twine marked. I won't glue it yet, I'll just mark it with the Sharpie. That's where I'll know where to put the hot glue, okay? So I'll show you how that looks. I started out thinking that I could use the E6000 adhesive spray, and I did shake it up. I put a piece of parchment paper on my table so that I would protect my table from all of that adhesive. So I sprayed it, and I shook it up a little bit more to get more of a mist, and it didn't work. So I started to place the top layer down, and I was holding it and trying to make sure it would stick. I pressed down, and it didn't work. So the E6000 adhesive was a no. And once I realized that, after I just stopped trying, I got out the tacky glue, and I poured some of it on the parchment paper, and I used tacky glue with a paintbrush. I'm still trying. Let me press it down with the bottom of the bottle. I'm trying everything right here to see if I could get it to stick, and it just would not cooperate. Okay, so I decided to just take the cap off the E6000 and pour some on my parchment paper, and I used the paintbrush to apply the glue to the back of each layer, and that's how I got it to stick. The tacky glue was fantastic for this project, so kudos to tacky glue, and not so much for E6000 spray. Now that I have all of my cuties glued together and everything is in place, look how cute. Look at how cute they are. And the eyes, I didn't care about which direction they were going in, so they're not all going in the same direction. The tacky glue worked best. The tacky glue, even though I don't like using glue, I like the way that it worked. Look at how cute. OMG. I love these colors. I love Cricut glitter cardstock. Okay, so now that I have all of them glued together, now I will glue them to the backing. Okay, so I'll get my glue gun and I will add another little glue dot. And I say little, I mean big, right? And I will just put this little guy right there on top. Look at how cute. And the white just adds another layer. I decided not to use glitter cardstock for the backing because I feel like that would have been a waste of glitter cardstock. And since I like it so much, of course, I don't want to waste it. So this back layer is actually the craft board. Okay, so kind of just get it lined up. It doesn't even have to be perfect. Okay, because this is just what's keeping the cuties on the banner. Make sure you don't glue it out of order, because then your word will be misspelled and somebody will tell you how many times. 50. You misspelled a word. You misspelled a word. You misspelled a word. Like, okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So I'm on to my F. And I am absolutely loving the way this has turned out. Loving. Of course I'll say loving when it's not lined up. Uh-oh. What happened right? Oh, you know what? I glued this one backwards. So I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that happened because look. So my option, I don't really have another option. I'm going to have to take this off and glue it the right way. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure, and oh my goodness, I'm glad this is the back layer. I can just take this off. Hot glue is forgiving. Hot glue is very forgiving. And this is the back, so I haven't hurt. Nothing has been harmed in the making of this video. Okay, just add a layer of glue. See, the Sharpie helps me to know exactly where to put it. And I'll put my letter F right on top. Let me add a little more glue. In case you missed it, my daughter bought me this glue gun for Christmas. And I thought that was very, very thoughtful. Very thoughtful. Okay. Look at how cute. Okay, so this is the finished product. This is my crafty banner, and what am I going to say? I love it. I love the way this turned out so much. I thought I loved my other banner, but that one might even have to come down, or I'm gonna have to find another place in my craft room to put this, because even though this doesn't really go with my Rockets color theme and my love of the color red, I do have to hang this somewhere in my craft room because I love it. All right, and hopefully you can see it very well. You can see how the colors came out. You can see how there's a piece of glue in between the C and the R. But at any rate, if you found this tutorial helpful, if you learned something along the way, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. Turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week without fail. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.